Oh, hello, everybody. Hello. It's me, Calvin K from Quack Academy. How are we all doing? It is the business show. I love getting back into these. Other than that, I feel like I've got hay fever or something. Honestly, I'm dying this morning. If you are watching live, please say hello in the comments. We are live in my Facebook group, my LinkedIn, and for the first time, I've gone live on YouTube. We'll see what happens there. Basically, we'll see what happens. If you're watching live, please say hello. If you're watching on replay, please put #replay. And you can catch every replay on YouTube. You can do that. So make sure you go and check all of them out. I've been having some amazing guests on the show. Well, all of them amazing, obviously, but just some amazing guests on the show recently. It's been absolutely amazing. And speaking of shows, this weekend, so this weekend I went and saw Stephen Bartlett's Diary of a CEO live. If no one knows who Stephen Bartlett is the whilst recording this, he's the newest Dragon on Dragon's Den. 28 years old, built a £300 million company. Like, he's one. I've got 3 influencers, and he's one of them. He's probably been the longest one. Oh, sorry, a bus just went past. He's probably been the longest one. And he's got a podcast, The Diary of a CEO. And he wanted to do a live version that's more in depth with him. Like, you dive more in with him and learn more about his story. And it was absolutely amazing. Like, it's not a webinar, it's not anything, it's not a seminar, it's nothing like that. He even said, like, the first 1 or 2 that he did, people came with notebooks expecting to take notes. And he was like, no. There's like a 36-piece gospel choir that's included in this. There's a DJ, there's strobe lights. It is an absolute masterpiece. But the show in itself, just the depth that it goes into and everything, it's absolutely phenomenal. Recommend anyone going. If it is coming to a town near you or anything, please go. It is absolutely amazing. And it's just how raw and honest he is about everything. And his ex-business partner was there, his girlfriend was there, and he was talking about them and breakups and alcoholism. Oh, it was honestly absolutely exceptional. Anyway, if you can't tell, I really enjoyed the show. And speaking of shows, this week, once again, speaking of shows again, I have 2 fabulous guests this week. I've got a fabulous Carlton on today. I was going to say, I was like, but his first name in Brunton, because it says Brunton Media on his name. His first name's Carlton. And then we've got the fabulous Tom Perkins on Thursday as well. So 2 great guests this week, both talking about like video and tech and websites. And, it's going to be a great mixture of content this week. And I'm really, really looking forward to it. However, with no further ado, is it a do? A Jew. I always get this wrong. It's not a Jew. That sounds really wrong. A do. However, Carlton, shut me up. Morning, love.
Hello. How are you?
I'm all right. Yeah. How are you?
Yeah, very well. Very well. Playing tech, as we were discussing before the show started. So I don't look as amazing and as polished as normal, but that's okay. That's probably a mixed blessing, I think.
Love it. Carlton, before we carry on, sir, can you tell us who you are and what you do?
Of course. My name is Carlton Brunton. I'm from Brunton Media, and we do everything video production and helping you understand what that actually means. So for your business, so what you should create, how you should create it, and then why. And if you're just using something like your phone as well, it's not always necessarily through us that you have to create video, because that can be not necessarily the best way to do that, especially at the start, as you're so well articulating here as well,
Honestly, I
have to have a professional crew to do this,
Honestly, right? I say to people, I was like, there's no now, even on the free version where if it has their own branding on it, I say now there is no way anyone these days should have shit live videos. There's just no reason for it. I use StreamYard. There's also something called Melon. Melon's a little bit different, but you've got Melon as well, which is really, really cool. And they have a free version. Yeah, it's got their branding on it. But if you wanted to, like you're saying, up your game, like you're also saying, don't just start using your phone and things like this. Don't just buy the premium version because you want to start doing live videos. Like, use the free shit. I use the free shit for ages. Absolutely ages. But no, I completely agree with that. How long have you been doing it for?
I've been doing it, well, the company's been established for just under 5 years. I've been full-time for 2. But the time when I wasn't full-time, I also had a part-time, but I was running it as a part-time, like a full-time, if that makes sense. So I was basically working 8 hours and then doing 4 to 5 hours on top of that. And now I'm just doing 12 hours on my time instead. So,
Well, can't grumble that one, can you? Can't grumble that one. So, like you said, you do an array of things, don't you? Why video marketing in particular? Why, or media? Why video marketing?
The simple answer, I get this. I imagine I get this question a lot, right? Like, why video? And the simplest answer is people buy from people, right? That's the simplest answer. And unless you're going to go physically meet someone or have a meeting, which is trading time for potential money or potential connection or potential a relationship that could then be built to a connection, that's a way to do it. Another way to do it is to film a piece of video that can connect, because you're person to person still, but you're not trading time. You're trading time once to record that video, like we're filming this piece now, and I imagine this is now going to sit on your YouTube channel for as long as you allow it to sit on your YouTube channel, right? So this is technically a passive piece of advertising for you that says, hey, this is what I do, and this is who I've connected with, and this is who I've had great conversations with, blah, 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 blah. So then you don't need to continually say the same things again in the same meetings. Like we found it a lot where someone will have a sales pitch, and instead of doing that sales pitch repeatedly, they build a sales video that they send to prospects that does the same job, technically.
Do you know what? You just given me like 2 points, but one of them is an idea. I've never told anyone to come on that's come on the show to embed this on their website. No one. All they need is the YouTube URL. That's all they need. I've never told anyone to do it. Weird. Real weird. But no, you're completely right. And, this is why I got into video content in particular. I started doing these December 2020. I started November, December. I had a few business friends from online networking that were trying to sell products and services. And, in time for Christmas, like VAs were trying to sell like Christmas card writing packages and so on and so on. So I started doing the show. And then afterwards, I was like, I wonder if people would like me to carry on doing it. Yeah, we would. But I used to do it 5 days a week. That was a lot. 5 days a week. Every morning. It was like, doing Good Morning every morning. This morning? Good morning. I don't watch normal TV. Anyway, I stopped doing it for a few months. When, shall we say, the world reopened, I stopped doing it because I couldn't really find guests. I didn't want it to just be me and just be the Callum show. And I realized I'd lost my biggest form of marketing. My biggest form of marketing, I'd lost it. Absolutely just gone. Completely lost it. Other than, like you're saying as well, video, Zoom, other than networking via Zoom, which once again is video, it's like doing live videos for me was the strongest piece of, shall we say, extra marketing that I did. And I stopped doing it for months, absolute months. And I did really see a difference.
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested to see why specifically. I mean, why did you choose to do the live format? I'm curious because for me, the live format is great, but you can't play with the edit. You can't add stuff over the top, or it's harder to do that, right? You can, but it's harder, right? And for me, I think most people's hurdles about why they don't do video in general, and I'll tie this into the theme again, is because they're scared of doing it, or they're worried that they're not going to come across well, and etc., etc., etc. So doing live, yes, it's easier, but also it's harder because you don't have that, oh my God, what if I do something wrong? I can't cut it out because it is live. You have to just go with it.
It's like I just told you at the beginning, though. I do not pre-schedule, pre-write any questions. I don't have any. I have none. I always start with my basis one. I have, everyone that comes on fills my little form in, gives me a couple of pointers. It just flows. Sometimes I get people on for a part 2 to talk about the rest of the stuff they filled in because they've said something and we've both gone on a massive tangent about it. That's why I like live video. That's why I like live video. Yeah, I can fuck up. Yeah, it's one of them things. I can fuck up on a normal video if it was pre-recorded. It's just one of them things. I do podcasts. I do public speaking. I'd rather mess up on this than publicly speaking. I'd rather do that because this, at the end of the day, I can delete it. I can't edit it, but I can delete it. But no, I'd recommend everyone to do live video. I know a couple of people that every night. Let me start that again. I had one client who's like, I want to get into live video, but I don't know when to do it. I went, do you think of content really randomly every now and again? I go, yeah, I do. Like just walking the dog, I'll think of something. I'm like, it's not going to be as amazing because your signal might be shit, it might be everything else. Just go on your phone, do a live video. Just go on it. Go on a bit of a tangent. Do it into a group. Do it wherever you want. StreamYard, you can't really do on your phone, because it's more production. It's got all the fancy bits backstage, all the videos and everything. And they did, and they went, I've really got to figure this. I'm like, you've just got to start it. And that's all I did with live videos. I'd never done them. I got the piss taken out of me left, right, and centre when I started doing them. absolute left, right, and centre got the piss taken out of me by friends. It was like, oh God, you're acting like a bloody influencer. And I was like, I'm really not. Like, you know, I'm really not. It's just me and a business friend. It always has been on the show. And they go, oh, well, it's like no one famous. I'm like, do you really think I could get the Kardashians on? Like, you know, what are you expecting? But yeah, that's why I started doing live video. It's the strongest thing. Without waffling on, I've been told my personality is what sells me. It either sells me in either a positive way or I don't want to say negative, but in a way of people like, oh, I don't really match that energy. You know,
it's a Marmite thing, right? Like,
yeah, absolutely. And doing live video is the best way for me to promote that. Absolutely is the best way for me to promote that because people see my personality. Hopefully they see my banter. I used to do on a Friday night in my Facebook group, I used to do a wine and live. I'd literally sit there with a bottle of wine and a guest and we'd just get pissed. I've been asked to start them again. But they were great and people used to tune in on a Friday night to watch it. But yeah, that I know it was a very, very long answer to what you asked of like, why did I choose live video? It's because of that element. It's random, it's fast, it's spontaneous. You know, there's all these different elements to it.
Fantastic. I mean, you know, for me, I think live is, as I say, it's interesting. That's why I asked you, because it's like everyone does. I always feel like everyone starts with recorded video and doesn't quote unquote jump in at the deep end, because live video for a lot of people is this terrifying, non-attainable thing, right? And the advice I always give to people when they ask me, oh, how do we start with video? Or, you know, everyone's bashing on about you need to do video, you need to video, you need to video. And I'm like, okay, well, record 5, then don't even watch them because you're just getting into the habit of recording 5. Then do another 5 that is actually kind of a controlled topic or a planned topic, and then actually post those or send those to friends or family members or etc. to get feedback and keep that process going. And eventually you've done 30, 40, 50, 100, etc. videos. And by that point, you'll be more seasoned to the concept of talking to a camera, and it will feel less, ooh. It's the same way you do public speaking. It's the same way you do anything. But especially if you want to get better at something, just start saying yes to doing it repeatedly, right? Like so many people ask me all the time, like, oh, how did you start a podcast? How you start this? How you start that? I'm just like, do it. Just do it. And work out everything else later. Like my podcast still doesn't have a name, and it's becoming a funny meme in my own head because I started the podcast as I need to have this conversation platform to have an honest conversation with business owners, and I'll worry about the rest afterwards. We're nearly 100 episodes in, and I still haven't worked out the rest of it.
I love that. What's the podcast called?
Exactly, that's the problem. So it doesn't have a name, right? So there is no title to the podcast.
What's it on there, on the bloody podcast channels?
So the thing is, because I've prioritized it as a video podcast, it sits on my YouTube channel, but... Okay. And then it gets cut up for social, but we haven't actually got it on the podcast platforms because I started it in lockdown and I was very like, right, episode. And I didn't start uploading it onto podcast platforms. So now I've got this massive pile of content. There's like nearly 100 episodes. I'm going to have to be like, right, so I've now got to upload 100 episodes plus doing all the media data and everything. Or I have to just start series 2 and then start it on podcast platforms. So there's never an easy solution there. And I'm always in two minds about it.
Yeah.
So it technically doesn't exist on podcast platforms yet. So we have no idea whether it would be the amazing success that I'm sure it will be.
Love that. Absolutely love it. No, it is really interesting, you know, and this one of the things, you know, you talked about earlier about video, you know, can also be an asset. And I've now started doing a monthly free ebook, started doing it. And I now do, I didn't do them last month, if I'm really honest. But once again, this is like, I didn't really know what content I wanted to do with them. But I do at least 3 or 4 live videos a month tying in with the ebook. So, you know, where you was just saying that about planned content for live videos, so you don't feel like you're going out in the wind a little bit. I write an ebook. It's always got 7 things or 7 points in it. Don't know why, I just chose 7. And I picked 4 of them. I just picked 4 of them and I discussed them on a live video. And the reason someone said, well, why don't you do all 7? I was like, because then why would they download the ebook? I do 4, so then they can find out the other 3. January when I did it, I did 4 videos, but 3 points. One of them was a 2-parter. And it's because the rest of them are in the ebook. And then it's also tying in the videos with that. And, you know, it's such an important thing. It is really, really an important piece of marketing. And I really can't recommend it to anyone. Like now, I'm on literally in my Facebook group, my LinkedIn, and my YouTube. In 3 places at once. If I pay for the next package on StreamYard, I could be even more places, but I don't need to yet. Like I will, but I don't need to yet. And it's just so, honestly, absolutely amazing. But so what's next for Carlton Brunton Media? What's next? Because obviously, great podcast. Is it getting it on the podcast platforms? Is it doing all the different things?
Eventually, yeah. I think from a overarching perspective, just continue to create valuable content and create content that I would want to consume when I was starting out, I think is the key. I mean, that was why the podcast was born in the first place. I wanted to create a place where business owners could give genuine advice on how to build a business from ground zero up to however high they want to go, because that didn't exist. Right now we're in the content age. Maybe the last couple of years, we've seen people like Diary CEO that you mentioned in the intro, etc., like that, which are having open conversations, long form. That is really a thing now. That's great, but also there's still merit for tutorials, how-tos, those kind of things, explainer videos, obviously then promotional videos, that kind of thing as well. So it's a mix. There's always been a balance between what I want to grow from our brand perspective and then also serving clients as well. And it's always that balance. So I think moving forward, in answer to the question, it would just be expanding the freelance team or the team in general to allow me to do more across the board. So then as we grow, I don't have to take my foot off our marketing, but also not serve our clients and not have that kind of trade up.
Love it. It's absolutely great. Well, believe it or not, I know we started a bit late. I know we did. Do apologise, but I've got to finish that. It's been great getting you on. It's only because I realised I've got a meeting booked in like 5 minutes. So no, absolutely fabulous. Carl, thank you so much. Obviously, I'm going on your podcast. We are getting that sorted. So I will be going on there as well. I've actually got a thought of a name for you. I'll tell you after this.
Fantastic.
But yeah, no, Kat, thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been really nice talking to you a bit more, and I will speak to you very, very soon. I'll kick you backstage. Don't go anywhere. Bye. Oh, love it. Absolutely love it. I can't wait to go on his podcast. Make sure you go and check that out. Make sure you go find it on YouTube. It's going to be absolutely awesome. Make sure you tune in on Thursday. We've got the fabulous Tom Perkins in. I believe we're talking about all things websites. But I'm curious because it's Tom. There's probably going to be a bit more to it. So yeah, we're talking all things websites. So make sure you tune in. Make sure you have a great week. And as I say every time, in the words of my nana, if you can't be good, be careful. If you can't be careful, don't get caught.